is Dad?
I think Dad has made some excellent progress today.
Your dad, he's a fun guy, right?
Daddy's gone mad, hasn't he?
And I love him so much, and I think he's the greatest dad in the world.
Welcome back to the Working on the Dad Pod. I'm Alex. He's Ethan. Tonight, we are talking about screen time. Specifically, we are talking about screen time without constant battles. Because nobody wants to be having the battle over screen time. Listen, there are those of you among us who are saints, who are better than us, and have no screen time rules. And congratulations, you don't have kids that are 2 yet. No, but in all seriousness, everybody's got different amounts of screen time. We will be talking about that tonight, what some of our policies around screen time are, but more importantly, how you stop making screen time such a battle. We are staring into our screens tonight. I've got another screen down here with some show notes. Screens are everywhere. How do we have fewer battles? Before that, we'll do story time. After that, we'll work on the dad bod. While Ethan, starts a dance competition or a stretching routine or something.
I'm just actually optimizing the screen experience for those fortunate enough to be watching us. I want them to realize.
Is that what we're calling it? Optimizing. Okay.
Yeah, the entire time Alex has been talking, for those of you on audio only, I've been busting a move in my tie-dye shirt with my new haircut.
Slowly, fun. Looks like you're seducing something. I don't know what, but
I'm seducing the audience, the eyes.
Fair enough.
Indeed.
So, story time.
Yeah, story time. You first.
Do you want to start? Okay, I'll start with something that we were talking about. Just before the show, Ethan and I both recently got haircuts. I got a haircut today. Ethan, did you get your haircut today, or was that different
Tuesday?
Nice. Well, we're both looking fresh, and highly recommend to all the dads out there. Ethan and I have dabbled in different amounts, having our wives cut the hair. It's convenient when it's hard to get away from the house, get to a barber shop. But I've been going to a barber for about a year, and story time is a few weeks ago, I actually took my son to the same barbershop for the first time, got his first barbershop experience. And, I think it was really great. There was all sorts of different barbershops out there, and I'm not going to judge which kind you go to. I go to a little mom and pop shop, just sitting in a shopping center near where we live. But I noticed after I went in there a couple times, they have one guy, he's the owner, does a fantastic job with kids. They have a special kids cut rate. He does he keeps it simple. Found out he's got a kid himself, so he's in full dad mode, a kid around our kids' age, and he's like, they've got their smock or cover, I don't even remember, apron, they put on. He lets them choose. You want dinosaurs, you want trucks, you want Paw Patrol. He's got like 5 of them. Something for all the kids, and just keeps them comfortable. Ask some questions about different things that they like to do. And it's a really great experience. I know there are a lot of parents out there that sort of make a big deal out of that first barbershop experience. But I will say I had a really great time because, quite honestly, my wife has been cutting my son's hair up until that haircut his entire life. And he's usually like crying and like screaming and just sort of like, I don't want to sit still, or I'm done, or it's itchy. And it's like, bro, you've only got half your head cut. We can't let you out of the chair right now. We've got to figure out how to pacify you. And it was a battle. Or like, we're going to turn on some screens to keep you placated so you're still, so we don't end up running clippers up through the top of your head where they don't need to be. And he was chill in the barbershop. I think there's something for my kid, and you can judge it for your own kids, but I think there was something for my son about like, I'm out in public. This isn't mom. I can't like just whine and complain and be a little bugger. Like, I'm out in public. So, but he enjoyed it. And I asked him afterwards, I was like, hey man, mom or barbershop? He goes, barbershop. I want to keep going to the barbershop. And I was like, you know what? I think this, $20 once a month, maybe every 5
Mhm.
weeks. It's
Mhm.
definitely worth it to not have that battle.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I got my haircut Tuesday. It was just me after a quite the long day. Yeah, so to timestamp this is Thursday, April 30th, and tomorrow, Friday, May 1st, I am off to Portugal. So on Tuesday, my wife wakes up, takes a shower like she normally does, gets out of the shower relatively quickly, says to me, "Hey, we have no hot water." Great. Excellent. So I test two of the other faucets in the house. No hot water. I'm like, great. Excellent. So I call I Google, water heater repair, city I live in. Place comes up with 298 Google reviews with a 4.8 stars. It looks like they're less than a mile away. I was like, all right, I'll give them a call. Because the home warranty company was recommending a contractor who I told them never to send me again. So I wasn't going to pay these people anything. So I figured, okay, might be a little more expensive this way, but these people seem to be good. Call them, explain the situation. Within 20 minutes, they say they'll send somebody right up. Turns out the guy was actually coming from an hour and a half away, so that doesn't matter. Shows up and takes a look at the water heater, and what we find out is that there was an internal leak, and this is I should have mentioned this is an electric water heater, so an internal leak that caused an electrical fire in the unit that fried one of the thermostats, so need a new water heater. Guy says, "Hey, could have been worse. No one got hurt." So he says, "Hey, I can get this done today," because I was like, "Oh man, we're going to Portugal Friday." He's like, "I'm getting this done today." He says, "I got to call around, see where I can buy you a new water heater, and I'll come back when I got one." Before he goes, he tells me the estimate. And he's like, "We have a flat rate for labor. This is what that is. Here's the cost of the unit. Here's what that is." And I said, "Okay, am I getting the same thing or, newer?" And he goes, "I'm going to be honest with you. Electric water heaters, not a lot's been new in the last 12 to 15 years. I mean, it's like marginal." He's like, "However, I'm getting you a different company. I'm getting you my favorite brand." And I was like, "So if you were buying yourself a water heater, this is the one you'd get?" He said, "Yes, that's the one we're buying." I was like, "Great. I accept." Point is, it was a flat rate for labor. So knowing that whether he was there 20 minutes or the whole day, I was paying the same. So I hung out with him the whole day, worked
Nice.
in between meetings, chatted with him. I was like, "You walk me through everything you're doing." Because I was like, I want to know how to fix the little things so that I don't have to call a plumber unless it's a big deal. So he walked me through everything he did. He showed me how to do the routine maintenance. I talked to him just about my plumbing experience generally and how handy I am as a homeowner. Not very. Point is though, it's I'm already paying for this. So, let me milk the crap out of this. And frankly, he's kind of a cool guy. He's got a 2.5-year-old. I was like, "Hey, do you want to take some of this crap that my wife hasn't been able to give away yet on the buy nothing?" He took some shit, really appreciated it. So it was actually mutually beneficial. Nice guy, would recommend 5 out of 5 stars, got a new unit. It was not a lot of money in the grand scheme of water heater repair, but it was a lot of money that I wasn't prepared to spend. And especially 3 days before traveling internationally, that was not what I was going for. However, we have hot water in the house, so that's good. And my kids are none the wiser. So now they'll be able to take showers while we are in Portugal. So win-win.
I love that for them. I love that for for your Pigpen-esque kids.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I find the difference, between not right or wrong. I find the difference between your attitudes towards like home repair and mine, like always like striking. And I think some of that, this is like a relationship thing. I mean, obviously you can always have you can have two different personalities in a relationship, but my wife and I'm the cautious one when it comes to home repairs because I want to watch the YouTube video first. Right? Like
yeah.
It's more like we will exhaust. I will spend an hour behind the fridge before I go, yeah, I really think we need to call the guy out here. Or we just watched a YouTube video and we're working on our outdoor kitchen that we're building. And we poured concrete countertops this weekend for from 5 p.m. until midnight on Saturday. So, just,
and I'll say this, I would be willing to attempt to build something, but something has broken and I have to fix it. And it's a critical element of life. The hot water heater, for instance. Yeah, I don't really trust myself. And frankly, yeah.
If you showed me a picture of just where the electrical fire was, wouldn't have been I'm not opening YouTube for that. Let's be clear. Right, yeah. That is well past my line. I am not. This is not a very hyper specific example because I would have also had to get a new water heater and would not have been installing that shit myself.
Right.
No. So let's call a spade, but
sure.
Yeah, I would have just been I'm not talking to this guy. I'm just going to watch a YouTube video, because before you showed me the picture, I was like, hey, I could send you some resources. Here's how you flush it. I've flushed mine before when it went out. You just hook a hose up to the bottom and drain the whole thing and fill it up with, whatever. But
yeah. And now I know how to do that because I didn't know how to do that. He showed me how to do it. So I'm feeling good. But the whole thing was rough. Not how I felt like starting a Tuesday, especially with having to work from home, knowing what you and I just talked about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry that was cryptic, folks, but we're just gonna run right past it.
We're gonna riff with it. And speaking of YouTube, let's talk about kids and screen time.
Let's do it. So,
go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my kids are at the point now where a couple things happen. They don't need to watch stuff on TV. They ask. They care mostly about playing music constantly, which you and I talked about on another episode recently. But they like using the Amazon-based, not going to name names here, the Amazon-based products to get their music on all throughout the day. But they also have learned that YouTube has those same songs with the visual component that can be watched. And my issue now that I deal with is the fight happens at the end when it's stopped. You've gotten your half hour of screen time. And now the fact that you're screaming at me, we've gone from screen time to scream time, means you're not going to get that screen time again. And yesterday, it was just me and my 3.5-year-old, and my wife and the 6.5-year-old were at gymnastics. And it was I was just making pasta for dinner last night, a really low lift. So she and I are sitting on the couch. She's going through right now her favorite songs that are on YouTube. We watched a read along of The Very Hungry Caterpillar, The Gingerbread Man, Three Little Pigs, and Going on a Dragon Hunt. Those were the 4 things she wanted. It's about a half hour. Tell her we're done. I told her before Dragon Hunt that this would be the last one. She said, okay, totally fine. Keeps on screaming at me when this is over. And I tried something new. First, I had to raise my voice to get over her volume to just say, like, I need you to hear me. If you keep screaming, there will not be any more screen time. In fact, when I'm in Portugal, I'm going to tell grandma, you're not allowed to watch anything. So please stop screaming. Didn't stop screaming. So what I did, grabbed my AirPods. And I said, hey, these are noise canceling. Once I put these in, I can't hear you anymore. You won't be able to talk to me. I didn't turn anything on. I just like dimmed the volume, but the noise cancellations do dim the volume. I learned that when she was a baby and she was crying in the middle of the night and my watch was saying the decibel levels were dangerous. So the noise canceling headphones just kind of helped out.
Still got it.
Still got it. So, I put them in, and as you are aware, I'm at times a songwriter. So I tried something new, and I started singing on loop, and she kept screaming. So this was about 7 or 8 minutes of my song on loop versus her screaming. And it was, crap. I was rehearsing before the episode. I can't hear when you yell at me, only when you're kind. And I did that for 7 minutes nonstop until I won out. Yeah.
That's a strategy right there, folks. Like, I don't know if it's a good strategy, but it is in fact a strategy.
Yeah. Because I was able to tune her out and mesmerize and tune myself out in a double tune out where I was on loop, she's on loop, I'm emptying the dishwasher, the water's getting ready to boil for the pasta. It was not unproductive, but eventually, I realized I couldn't hear the dull sound of her anymore. So checked to make sure she was still alive, obviously. And I just won. So that was the strategy yesterday.
Yeah. I get all of that, right? There aren't problems. I need to phrase this very carefully, or at least put a lot of conditions behind this. But the problems when it comes to battling your kids don't come during the screen time, right? Like that is not, nobody's like, man, my kids are tough to handle when they're spaced out staring at the TV.
Right.
No, that's not it. But my kids are all the same, right? And so it's the transition. My daughter's been always especially difficult with transitions. My son is getting there. And we definitely have these battles, right? And I think there are a couple of ways that I have over the years figured out how to manage it. My kids' most common screen, like we have a 98% enforced policy of no screen time on weeknights, school nights specifically. Just because the kids need to get to bed. My daughter's school starts at 7:35 as first bell, right? Like they've got to get up early. It means they got to go to bed pretty early. And it's not usually productive, especially we've mentioned before, all the extracurriculars don't need to go back into those. There's just not a lot of time for them to watch anything and decompress and get in a good position to go to sleep. And so we make do without giving them that screen time. But the weekends is their time to shine. Mentioned it before. Saturdays and Sundays, barring any specific like early morning plans, they get to get up when their light turns green and go watch TV for usually the length of a feature film. They can choose to watch like three or four episodes of a show if it's an hour and a half, or they can choose to watch a movie. But they get that time to just have Saturday morning cartoons. We did this when we were kids, right? And I think that that's totally normal. But what I try to do, use a little bit of the time to sleep in, but my old body doesn't let me sleep in all the way till 8 o'clock anymore. when I can hear them about and giggling and all that. And usually one of them comes in at some point. It's like, I want breakfast. And I'm like, that's reasonable. Fine. I'll get you breakfast.
Sure.
But
sure.
I tend to go in before that movie's over, before that episode's over, and I take the remote. And the first thing I do is I usually press the down button just so it gets the time bar up there so I can see how much time is on there. And that always kind of breaks their attention because
Mhm.
they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm
Right.
like, not pausing it, just seeing how much time's left. I make a mental note, sometimes a silent timer on my watch for like, okay, there's 15 minutes left. Let me set a timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes go by, I come back and I pause it. Now, I broke their attention 5 minutes ago. They haven't completely settled back in. I'm back. All right, guys. There's about 10 minutes left in this. We're going to be done with TV after that. So it's broken their concentration a little bit. Is this perfect? No, this isn't bulletproof. Nobody take this as bulletproof, but it's broken their concentration. And then I tell them why it's going to be done and what we're going to be doing. And I think that last piece there of what we're going to be doing has always been the most important thing because it reframes it for them of like, give them something to be excited about or at the very least focused on. Like, we are going to be doing this outside, or we are going to be doing this. And so what I will sometimes do is I will pause it. And if I don't have something like, hey, son, you got a t-ball game, or daughter, you've got a dance rehearsal or whatever, maybe we don't have anything like that. Pause it. And I say, what would you like to do once this is over? I want to play with Magnetiles. I want to make a card. I want to jump on the trampoline. I want to go swim in the swimming pool, whatever it is. Okay, great. That way, when it's over, it's done. We turn it off and we say, okay, take the time you need. And then you were really excited about doing this. You were really excited about doing this, or we have to do this other thing. And that's been immensely helpful of like giving them something to work towards. But in general, it's allowing for that transition, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of big feeling. Their brain's just been flooded with dopamine and they're kind of crashing out, mentally, emotionally, all of it. And so I think if we're ever time-based, I don't say, okay, we're going to stop screen time the moment I need them to start getting ready. We're going to stop screen time 10 or 15 minutes before that so they can have their meltdown. And I'm not sitting there going, you need to calm down because you need to go put on your baseball uniform or whatever it might be. It's like, okay, you can calm down. Do you need a snack? Do you need water? Let me be of service to you. And then whenever you're ready, here's your baseball clothes. Go get them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah. And I would say, how are your kids, other than Saturdays, how are your kids with like, one of them gets in their mind that they want to watch something on TV and then you have to tell them no.
Because we're consistent about the like days of the week. Like my son asked me tonight if, could have a movie night. He didn't have something specific that he wanted, but he, was like, can we have a movie night? And I said, no, it's a school night. And he just doesn't really understand the days of the week. Sure. Right. On Monday, he asked for a movie night. And I said, no. He goes, great. Tomorrow is Saturday. We get screen time. Or like we get to watch TV. And I was like, buddy, tomorrow is Tuesday. You got a long way to go.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so most of the time, if the girls will ask me, hey, can we watch something? If I'm ready to be like, no, actually, like sometimes they'll ask before school and I'll say, no, like the moment you're done eating, we're leaving. Like that's like, this, like, let's not do this dance. All right. But then it's the other times where it's like, hey, like, why can't we watch TV? We finished dinner so early. What else are we going to do? It's like, well, there's other activities other than the TV. And sometimes that's where the battle is. And you can kind of tell if if they've had an emotional day at school or something based on how they react to that. So, but yeah, yes.
I think having that alternative lined up is always cool because, like, if you can, it's hard to telegraph it, but we have like a few go-to things that we can entertain them with, right?
Right.
First one, we can play a board game. Kids like Guess Who, they like Sorry, few others in there, Shoots and Ladders. Sure. But we can play some board games, so I can always throw that out there. But then we even have like little games that we play at our dinner table and at like restaurants and stuff that keep them engaged and entertained. So we have one that is I Am. Maybe I've explained this one before, but basically you say, I am blue and I have magical powers, and you're guessing a movie or TV character, right? The answer there would be the genie from Aladdin. And so you give a couple of hints, and people start guessing, and they can ask questions. Are you a boy? Are you a girl? And everybody else, however many other people are playing, they're all working as a team to try and figure out the answer. So we have games like that. And then we have I'm going to grandma's, and we pick a category. Right. And if you say I'm going to grandma's and you categories animals, I'm going to grandma's and I'm bringing an aardvark. And then you have to say I'm going to grandma's, I'm bringing an aardvark, and I'm bringing a bear. And you have to name something for every letter of the alphabet.
Sure.
Right. And every time, by the time you get to Z, you've got to name all 26 things that's going to grandma's.
I appreciate how prepared they're going to be for the drinking game versions of these.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the whole goal.
I mean, you got to win, right? It's all about competitiveness. So
yeah, I mean, my son's already so competitive. I don't think he needs any. Like, we were playing basketball this weekend. He wanted to go out and play basketball, and I knew there was one park that you could like crank the rims down to 7 feet, and he's got a tiny little ball that's like this big on my head. And I was like, I know he can make the baskets on this one. And like, he needed a break because it was hot. He was like, I want to take a break. I was like, okay, let's sit and drink some water. He goes, while we're drinking water, let's play rock, paper, scissors. I'm like, dude, you got to calm down.
Chill.
Like after I had completely like thrown a few games of horse to keep his confidence up, like he was like, we need to play rock, paper, scissors in between basketball. I'm like, okay.
That's funny. Yeah. My daughter's extremely competitive as well. The older one. And my oldest is competitive. Like my daughter, she's competitive. She wants to be the best at things if she gets the sense that she's good at them. If she is not good, she doesn't want to try. Sure.
Right.
Sure.
It's very much like she needs to know that she's got a shot at winning when the game starts. And then if she realizes it, she's disinterested.
Well, it sounds like, she picks her moments. So I respect that. Control what you can control, know your strengths and weaknesses. I get it. Keep up public appearances. So yeah. So just to reiterate something you said earlier, the battle of screen time is never during the screen time. It's always before or after. And there's all kids are the same in that they hate when the screen time ends and they hate when the screen time's denied. But every kid is different in how do you bring them back to calm, neutral, and get by. So if you have any ideas out there, you let us know. So
yeah, let us know. And I think the last sort of tidbit I would impart that has worked for us is the timer function. I mentioned this in our bedtime routine. We have an Alexa. Ethan's mentioned Alexa's, but he can't say it out loud because he's in the room with his. But I've mentioned Alexa. And Alexa works in our bedtime routine. She makes an announcement when it's time to clean up and come get last snack. She makes an announcement when it's time to start brushing teeth. And then she sings the Brushy Brush song sung by Elmo. Nice. Right? And all these kinds of things. And we can do that. We do the same things quite often when we're setting time limits on like TV or certain things. And we'll do it through like the phone apps connected to either our Alexa or our Google Home device. And that way it's not us. It's like, okay, Google's going to warn you, or Alexa's going to, Ziggy is what we call ours, but Ziggy's going to warn you when it's time. Then you get to be the negotiator, but not the enforcer, if that makes sense. You're not the bad guy. The timer said you're done. I didn't say you're done, but let's figure out your problem together.
Right.
And that helps. So, I mean, use more technology to solve the screen time issue. Yay.
Right. Cool. So, do you want to work on something with me?
Yeah, let's do that.
So on Pivot here, I may have mentioned that I'm going to Portugal tomorrow, and I have done Portuguese every day on Duolingo since February 1st. So I am going to say this: Portuguese is an insanely complicated language in that I have yet to figure out what the patterns are. It's very formulaic in Spanish, and some of the words are the same, and I'm doing fine. But like the pattern in verb conjugations and the masculine feminine connections with the articles and the nouns and stuff, it makes so much sense in Spanish. But in Portuguese, it's kind of just wild west out there. And it must be what it's like.
You should hear
for some
English for non.
Right. No, I was literally just going to say it must feel like when somebody's learning English when there's not really any patterns. Like, why is the word sure in English have an H sound and there's not a single H in that word? Right?
Yeah.
And
perfect example.
I'm learning about. Yeah. And I am learning right now in Portuguese. I said to my wife, who's like a couple lessons ahead of me because I'm doing 3 things on Duolingo and she's just been focused on Portuguese. So she's a couple lessons ahead. But so there's a word, sobretudo, which means coat, but it also means mainly. And I'm wondering, why is that the same word? Of all the homonyms, why that one? So that's my question for all of our Portuguese listeners. Why is sobretudo both mainly and coat? So one could say Alex sobretudo wears sobretudos, which obviously that was Portuguese Spanglish right there. But I said Alex mainly wears mainlies, or Alex Coates wears coats. Who knows? Who truly knows?
I think the context clues kind of give it away.
Maybe
he's a bear.
Not.
Doesn't have any fur.
Yeah, but that's spelled differently, isn't it? Not isn't bear B-A-E?
Yeah, but not when you're speaking.
But
you're not going into a store being like, give me mainly all your coats.
You might.
Let me write it down for you.
But it's the same word. But it's the same spelling. That's the problem.
Okay. Read and read. I get that those are different tenses of the same word, but they're
that wasn't a good example.
Like,
we've already acknowledged that English is insane, but
but that it gives us no ground to stand on. All right, we're through the looking glass on that one, but
also for some reason, same scale. Don't really understand how, but I'm 6 pounds lighter than last week. Go me.
Hell yeah, yeah. I had a weird one too. Like I'm down 3 pounds and like I have not been consistently tracking or like making effort and just fluctuations. I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm going on a Disney cruise next weekend. So that'll be fun. But it's one of those where like I feel like I've stayed in roughly the same ballpark of weight for several months now, like the same like 3 pound range. And like I feel like it's one of those where it's not the rapid change that I want, but I'm like, looking in the mirror, I feel like body composition is changing. But yeah, today last week when we were talking about like reading, I was mentioning Upgrade. I was mentioning all the Blake Crouch novels I've been doing. Finished Upgrade. That might be my favorite. I've looked at some. I'm a big fan of like going on Reddit when you've read multiple things by an author, or you're reading multiple things in a series like the Red Rising series, and seeing what other people like rank stuff. And Upgrade might be my favorite. I know there's a lot of people that love Dark Matter. I thought Upgrade was really good, but then I really took a hard turn into the sci-fi genre. I was on Libby last night, and I placed a bunch of holes. I used the Goodreads app to like give me some suggestions now based on what I've been reading. And I took that into Libby, and I placed a bunch of holds on different things, and started Dune.
I watched the first movie, the HBO one. Never got back to part 2 or 3.
Yeah, I have not watched the movie. I'm sure it's good, but it's one of those where I'm like, maybe I should, because like this is a 21-hour audiobook, and there's a part of me that's like, you know, there's a lot of things where there's a lot of sort of, you know, it's a lot of sci-fi elements of things that I'm like, I don't know exactly what word they're saying right there. Maybe I should be reading this or watching the book, but I'm giving it a try. And then I'm still reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, you know, on the digital reading. So, you know, there's a lot. And then I got a third one today. That's sort of a left turn. And I got inspiration from you. I'm going to try it, because I put down the print version a while back because it just didn't get salacious enough for me. But I borrowed from the library the audio version. I don't have the group audio or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the graphic audio.
Yeah. Don't have the graphic audio, but I've got we'll see how single narration goes for A Court of Thorns and Roses.
So I'm gonna say this. I said to my wife, I was like, I've been meaning to ask Alex. I don't know if him and his wife share a library card, because I feel like they do. Because I saw.
You borrow my library card to get access to that one thing. So you got the notification.
Every time there's like a book due for you or something gets checked out, I get a notification on my Libby app. So Alex let me borrow his library card, and I still have it linked to my Libby account because he's got a different library than me. And I did the same thing with my dad. Thank you, Dad. So my Libby is now connected to 4 cities' libraries, which is great because one of them usually has what I'm looking for, and it's wonderful. So I saw A Court of Thorns and Roses. I saw People We Are on Vacation, which my wife and I watched on Netflix a couple months ago. So I was wondering, I was like, do Alex and his wife, are they sharing a library card, or is this just Alex?
We're not sharing. No, we don't share a library card.
Okay.
The Court of Thorns and Roses is me giving that a second try, because I did not finish that book and have not jumped in that. That was my only foray into that fantasy romance genre.
Romantasy.
Yeah, sure. Was that The People We Meet on Vacation? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
We also watched it on Netflix, and like I put it on hold then because I was like, maybe the book's good, you know, whatever. We watched it on Netflix. I'm like, I don't know that I need to read it, but
so my thought on that
out now.
Yeah, my thought on the movie. It's When Harry Met Sally. It's the same movie.
No, it's not.
Well, not in terms of like, is it as good? But it's essentially the same movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they meet in the car driving home from college.
Yeah,
and then they like.
No, you're 100% right. Like it is media. Like it is Temu Harry Met Sally, and I don't mean that as disparagingly as maybe that sounds. You older, Temu is knockoff Amazon.
Yeah.
Probably never forayed there. I haven't either, but I know what it is. But yeah, I mean, it was that, and it just wasn't as like funny, right?
Yeah.
Like when Harry Met Sally is like is
Right.
a romantic story, but it is also like legitimately got some
Hilarious.
funny moments.
Yeah.
This has got like a little shock and awe. Anyway,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's in there. But no, my wife and I are not sharing a Livia account. I am gonna give it a try, because what I was finding a little bit was that Dune was very dense while I was running this morning.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
like, this may need to be something where I'm not like focusing on my body so much or whatever, that I'm doing something more mindless, and that
Sure.
maybe I need something a little more mindless
Mhm.
for my workouts. And
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, if I'm walking
So-
around the gym at full mass, then I may have to return the book.
Right. So I will want to say, just to level set expectations for you, ACOTAR, A Court of Thorn and Roses. The first 80% of that book's a lot of world. Yeah, is a lot of world building. So the
Yeah.
steaminess comes a little later. The second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, that's like steam from the get-go.
My wife read the whole series. Like, I know this.
Yeah.
If you're talking
Okay.
to the listeners, that's fine. My wife was like, "You're literally 3 pages away from it getting steamy." I was like, "Yeah, but fuck them for wasting my time." So
Well, that they were gonna get there, man.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And but other book that I actually liked and kept going.
So it's for those of you who haven't read, it's funny because in this world there's 7 courts, and the courts are, the areas of their kingdom, and this first book takes place in the spring court, where it's always spring. But there's also an autumn court. And I want to know, does the spring court always feel like it's 70 degrees but about to get hot, and the autumn court always feels like it's 70 degrees and about to get cold? I don't know. Is it the same? Are they the same court? Who knows?
Maybe they
Read and find out.
audiobook.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks for coming to our book talk event.
Yeah, we've officially jumped the shark there.
We have.
Um,
Alex, I will be thinking of you when I'm in Portugal. Listeners, I will definitely be thinking of the millions of you when I am in Portugal. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Visit us at workingonthedadpod.com, where you will find all of our socials, our handles, anything you want to know about us that we have put on that page, nothing else. And, thanks for being here. And thanks for working on the dad everything with us. I'm Ethan. That's Alex. Maybe we'll see you next week. Ciao, boa noite.